Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes, but it might be better than where he came from. A movie like The Godfather works so well because we enter a work without explanations. It's a world that exists under our very noses, one where a family controls a lot of the blue-collar work around a city and is part of the heartbeat of American life. In the opening wedding scene, Michael explains to Kay how his family endears loyalty to them by doing things the police can't do for the locals. The lead enforcer of the family is Luca Brasi. He's the man you send if you want a message to be heard. But where did Luca Brasi come from, and why was his original story so violent and horrific that they took it out of the movie? The book The Godfather relays a lot of stories about the character that never made it into the movie. Sometimes it seems like they were cut because those depictions were far too fantastical or violent, so much that they took away from the serious tone of the movie. That especially goes for Luca Brasi. His early life was shaped by a devastating family dynamic. His father, a weak man, cuckolded by their landlord who slept with Luca's mother, represented everything Luca grew to despise about compromised masculinity. The situation exploded when his father, in a rage, stabbed his mother, killing her and her unborn child. Luca's response was swift and brutal. He murdered both the landlord and his father, marking the beginning of his violent path. The early trauma left Luca mentally unstable, essentially a man with a death wish. He walked the streets like a ticking time bomb, heading a small gang and recklessly preparing to take on powerful criminal bosses. His reputation grew to mythic proportions within the criminal underworld. During the Olive Oil War, he single-handedly killed 6 men to protect the Corleone family, stopping only when Don Corleone himself ordered him to cease the rampage. His loyalty knew no bounds. He even killed a fellow Corleone soldier simply for making the family look bad. When Al Capone sent his best hitman to kill Vito, Luca's response was terrifyingly efficient. He gagged one man so tightly, the hitman choked to death on his restraint while Luca dismembered his partner with an axe. But it was a different incident that revealed the true depths of his darkness. When his Irish girlfriend became pregnant, Luca forced a local midwife to throw his newborn child into a furnace, declaring he wanted none of that race to live. Days later, he murdered the child's mother. The terrified midwife, fearing she would be next, sought protection from the Corleone family. This was all talked about, but cut from the movie because it made the character unlikable. We liked thinking he was just a big uncle who was nervous to speak with the Godfather and not someone whose deeds resembled the Zodiac Killer. What do you think of leaving it out? Would it have been too weird to hear about Al Capone in the movie, or too violent to hear about chopping up someone with an axe? I mean, we see a horse's head. Is a human's that much worse? I do think explaining the mystery behind these people takes some of the wonder out of it, and adding too much violence like that would make it sound like an action movie, or like we should expect to see stuff like that again, instead a carefully executed plot, pun intended. Let me know what you think in the comments.